Okay, now that we've got a website that's got a banner image that tells our students, hey, you're at my site, and we've got customized buttons, the next thing we want to do is we want to organize the navigation menu here on the left-hand side so that it's focused, so that students can click one button and go to your website and get what they need, do what they need on your website, and be done with it. The harder it is for your students to get access to the resources and files that they need, the less likely they are to do what you want them to do. So there's a menu in the upper left hand corner. It's this blue plus sign, and when you hover over that, it drops down a bunch of items. Okay, and you can do things like you just create a bunch of these items. Well, what we want to do is we want to create a bunch of dividers. So let's create a couple dividers, and there's arrows on the left hand side that allow you to move those dividers around. So we're going to move the dividers up. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a subheader. Okay, and then all you do is you name the subheader. So let's name the subheader course materials. Okay, and then hit submit, and then we're going to drag that up between our dividers. Okay, so what I've done here is I've created categories for the buttons that exist on the left hand side. See, the buttons the way that they come default is that they're just given random names like course materials, assignments, discussion board, and they're not organized in any way, and they don't have any sort of priority. Okay, what you really want is you want the most important buttons to be at the top, because that is where people start reading when they read a page in the English language. So you want your most important buttons to be up in the upper left, but you don't want all the other buttons to fall away in importance. So what you do is you can create categories. Okay, the categories that you create are completely up to you. I think about 3 categories is an optimal number, because it'll break them up into meaningful, coherent units. So what you can do is you can create, like, let's say a course materials, you could create an assignments, and then you can create something like, let's call it contact. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm going to drag these up to their respective areas. Okay, and then what you do is you take each of the content areas, because what these buttons do is they link to different content areas in your site, and what you do is you organize these content areas around the categories you create. So under course materials, it used to be that, and usually courses come defaulted with a course materials button. Well, you can actually break your course materials down, and you can say, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's rename this link, and let's just say that this content area corresponds to your PowerPoints, and maybe another content area corresponds to the readings you have. Okay, and maybe under course materials, you might have something else like lecture notes or something like, the point is that your students can now go and click one button, and in that area that they go to, all they're going to get is what's labeled on the button. So it's much easier for your students to navigate around your site. And then let's say that there's for assignments, let's say that there's a writing assignment they have to do in a wiki. What you can do is you can just create that button that goes straight to the writing assignment. So you could say writing assignment 1, and you could have that right there on the front page of your site. They don't have to go through menus and guess where it is. The name of the assignment is right there on the button. Okay, and you're free to make as many categories as you want. I like to put those dividers around it just so it's clear where the categories are, so that these subheaders don't get lost. Okay, so that's step 2. Step 2 is to organize your navigation menu into coherent, clean categories. And again, the categories are completely up to you, but making the categories and focusing what those buttons do is going to make it a lot easier for your students to use the site. All right, let's go on to step 3 now.